A few weeks ago, this was my shredder. Since then, this unit is back up and is fully operational. In this third and final episode, we'll create a file that any 3D printer can understand. Then we'll hand it off to my printer and watch as the printer makes the gear we need. However, we won't be admiring our new gear for long, as we'll open up the shredder and replace the defective gear. At the end of this episode, as promised, I'll show you how you can get FreeCAD for yourself. This may be the final episode for this series, but with FreeCAD and this channel, this is only the beginning. We are again looking at FreeCAD, and in the drawing area is our finished gear. Off to the right in our Labels and Attributes panel, you'll notice two new additions to our drawing tree. These are Cut and Cut 001. Cut corresponds to the pinion gear, while Cut 001 represents the helical gear. While we could rename them Cut Pinion and Cut Helical, we are now so close to finishing this project that it hardly seems worth the effort. To begin, we'll need to go to the top of the toolbar and select the drop-down menu currently labeled Start. From that menu, we'll need to select Mesh Design in order to switch to the Mesh Workbench. First, we'll click on Cut. Then at the very top window bar, we'll select Meshes, and from that drop-down menu, we'll select Create Mesh from Shape. Once selected, a new menu on the right will appear. Select Standard, then click the OK button. You'll now notice that the outer appearance of the pinion gear has changed. This gear has now been enveloped in a mesh envelope. Next, we'll select Cut 001. Again, we'll select Meshes from the top window bar and again click Create Mesh from Shape. Again, we'll select Standard and click the OK button. Notice now that we have two elements in our tree that are new. They are Cut Meshed and Cut 001 Meshed. Before we're finished, though, we need to unify both meshes into a single unified mesh. This is done by selecting Cut 001 Meshed, then while holding down the Shift key, press the up arrow. This causes both Cut 001 Meshed and Cut Meshed to be selected. Going back to the top window toolbar, again select Meshes and then select Merge. You'll now notice another entry in our drawing tree. This entry is labeled Mesh 002. This is our final unified mesh. All we need to do now is export this mesh to a stereolithography file, better known as an STL file. While we could go to the top window menu and select File, then from the drop-down menu select Export, I've had better luck just by clicking the Export Mesh to File icon. Again, follow my cursor. You'll now be presented with a dialog box, and at the bottom you'll be asked to give a file name. Here we'll enter Shred Gear. Then press Save. We have now exported our mesh to an STL file ready for our printer. Okay, for those of you who don't own a printer but want to see this gear printed, we'll do just that. What you're looking at now is the screen of the software which controls my printer. The gear we designed is already placed on our virtual plate ready to print. One thing to understand about any mesh file is the surface you're looking at is made up of thousands of small triangles. The more detailed the surface is of a particular region, the more triangles will be needed to represent that region. To give you an idea of the triangles involved, I'm going to highlight the triangle edges to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. As you can see, this gear is quite complex. Before this program can print the gear, our file needs to be passed to the slicer, where our STL file will be converted to a G-code file that the printer understands. Now we're going to press the slice bar to generate the G-code. When we're done, a virtual mock-up of our finished part will be shown. It's also possible to view different layers of our print. It's also possible to check the G-code the slicer has generated. For this one print, the slicer has generated over 189,000 lines of code. We're not going to check this code, just take my word for it. So as not to bore you with any more details, I'll just save this G-code to a micro SD card and plug it into my printer. So, here is our finished gear. The total print time was about 2.5 hours. It would have taken much less, but I decided to do a 40% infill to increase the internal support of our pinion gear. After the print bed finished cooling, I took a quick caliper measurement of the new gear and found it to be exactly what I needed. For comparison, the original gear is placed next to the new one. For those of you who don't have a 3D printer, it's almost certain there are places where you can send your STL file to be printed. For a print this size, the cost is quite nominal. In my area, the public library will do it for just the cost of the print filament used. For this case, it would be around $1. At this time, there is also a major big box office supply store that also offers this service as well. In this case, I suggest you call them for a quote. In any case, the cost should be minimal. Lastly, if you Google 3D print and the name of your town, a list of local print providers should pop up. The printer you just saw was a kit and cost around $150. A word of caution though, building and adjusting a printer such as this is not for the faint of heart. By following the assembly instructions, if there are any, you will end up with a printer that produces rather poor results. However, these printers can be tuned up. To the dismay of my friend who paid over $1,000 for his printer, the quality of my prints were actually better than his for the same STL file. In case you were wondering what I did, I plan to do a video explaining the tune-up process which I created for my printer. As promised, I'll now show you how to get the software you need. To my complete surprise, getting the files you need is now really easy. First, you go to the FreeCADweb.org page. Once there, you're presented with the page you see here. Go to the top of the page and click on Download. Though there currently is a button on the main page that says Download Now, and true, this button does work, the main page changes constantly. Therefore, I recommend pressing the Downloads button at the top of the page. Historically, this part of the page has been most stable for all versions of FreeCAD. After pressing the Downloads button, you are taken to the next page where your platform options are listed. I have tested these versions for both Windows and Linux. If you've installed software on your computer in the past, there will be no surprises as to how these installs go. However, I do have one suggestion for Linux users. If FreeCAD is in your software repository, use that version. This guarantees that all dependencies relative to this application have been satisfied. This also makes for smoother software updates that you periodically do for Linux. After you install and run FreeCAD, you are presented with this page. At the top window toolbar, you want to select the Tools drop-down menu. At the bottom of that menu, select Add-on Manager. Shortly, the add-on dialog box will appear. Scroll down until you see a selection labeled FC Gear. Select that item, then press Install Updates button. Congratulations! You now have all you need to design gears in FreeCAD. Surely a video like this would not be complete without actually fixing the broken shredder. So naturally we'll do that right now. Since all of the fasteners in this shredder are hex head, you'll need a 1/4 inch as well as a 7mm hex socket. The first thing to do is turn the shred assembly upside down and lay it on its back. Noting that nothing consumes precious time like watching someone slowly remove hardware, I'll spare you this. To begin, there are 5 1/4 inch screws that need to be removed. Next, you'll need to remove the bottom cover. We now see the internals of our shredder. Of particular note is the wire routing. You'll want to pay special attention to the motor fan and the wires running next to it. I'll cover that in detail during reassembly. Here we have a view of the gear compartment. As seems to be true for most fellow shredders, the first thing to do is remove the motor. This is accomplished by removing the 4 7mm screws highlighted in the view. The next step is to remove the black plastic support covering the defective gear. This is done by removing 2 7mm nuts and then carefully removing the support. As you loosen the nuts, you'll want to reach behind the unit and put your finger on the head of the screws to keep them from backing out of their recesses. Here we see the steel support arm stabilizing the shaft of the large and defective gears. From this point on, you'll want to pay careful attention to any washers and spacers you may find. Take note of how they came off and reverse that procedure upon reassembly. It's now time to remove the steel support. Here we see 2 gears exposed along with the old defective gear. You'll next want to remove the large gear pointed to by the arrow. For those of you who wish to see a view with the large gear removed, I refer you to a photo contained in part 1 of this series. At this point, the large gear simply pulls off of its shaft. Next, you'll simply pull the defective gear off and swap it with the new printed gear, which in this view has already been done. One point I want to make before we start reassembly is the matter of lubrication. As you can see, relative to part 1 of the series, I thoroughly cleaned the interior of the gear compartment and lubricated all gears with a good quality silicone grease. With plastic gears, this will go a long way toward extending the life of your shredder. Up to this point, you see here, reassembly is simply the reverse of the disassembly procedure. For the first time in this view, you no longer see the shredder mechanism lying atop the top cover, but rather sitting inside the bottom enclosure. This is necessary for proper wire routing. Before flipping the top cover over the shredder, make sure the highlighted wires are routed through the indicated clips to keep them from colliding with the motor fan. As the last step, flip the assembly upside down and replace the 1/4 inch hex screws. Your shredder is now powered up and ready for many years of additional service. This ends the final part of this series, but as I've said before, with FreeCAD and this channel, this is only the beginning.